Jessica Vanessa is the #1 twerker in the world, with 2 million social media followers, and the 22-year-old makes a 6-figure salary from her online appearances.
I'm really glad my wife doesn't watch these videos. A couple times over the past few years, I have gotten into arguments with a client, and something really horrible happens. I am calmly trying to explain my side of the situation, and before you know it, instead of arguing the issue, they call my professionalism into question. You're not a professional. Hey, do what I told you to do and act like a professional. A big part of dealing with moments like these successfully is understanding what a professional is. Like Jessica Vanessa's situation implies, a professional is someone who does what they do for a living. Since this definition's simplicity can leave a lot to interpret by context, I think it helps to look at some common misconceptions about professionalism in order to help flesh out why it is so important to keep in mind. Let's get started with misconception number 1. This one sounds pretty harmless, but anyone who has been in a boardroom with a client before knows that their understanding of reality and their criteria for satisfaction
I want my geese to lay gold eggs for Easter.
are not always productive. In fact, this is a common tactic used by business consultants to try to get as much out of a deal as they possibly can. Why let someone know you're satisfied if looking unsatisfied will potentially get you more? Other clients may not be entitled to make informed decisions. They don't have the necessary background to where their satisfaction even counts as relevant to the desired results at all. For example, I don't think you argue the color and shape of the pipes to use while your plumber is trying to save your house's water pressure. Am I saying that the customer's satisfaction is not important? No. I'm simply saying that getting a job done correctly is more important, and that is not always the same as satisfying a customer. Next misconception. Looking like you know what you are doing and sounding pleasant is a powerful sales technique used to win people over. But a true professional whose career is dedicated to the study and practice of a particular craft knows that their knowledge and ability to execute is the main reason why their business is successful. In fact, some of the most famous and successful professionals of all time are notorious for their brashness. So how did they get away with it? Like legendary editor-in-chief of Vogue magazine, Anna Wintour, unapologetically barking orders at her staff? Or Dennis Rodman at the height of his basketball career, when his nickname was the Worm? They got away with it because they were great at what they did, and that's why people came back to them again and again for more. Why do I bring this up? It's not because I am advocating dressing like a jerk or being a jerk to people. It's because I think it is important to remember that a professional is not a composite of superficial values that ultimately have no impact on the work that is being done. It's about the ability to execute.
I came to work. I went to work. I told y'all I was a professional.
That's what I'm talking about. You tell him, sister. It's understandable why this misunderstanding is pervasive. Usually when people think of professionals, they think of doctors, lawyers, teachers, or any other kind of work that requires a license. But what about mattress jumpers, or pencil sharpeners, or cheese sculptors? Do you think there are accredited universities that offer degrees in those fields? In Sarah Kaufmann, the famous cheese sculptor's own words,
I never really had sculpting class per se. I would use mud or snow as every kid did.
So how did those people make careers out of their skills? They did it by working hard to get good, and being good enough to the point where people were willing to pay them for their time. And this, my friends, illuminates the core principle of professionalism in the business world. Being good enough to be in business is everything. A surgeon with all of the fanciest degrees and licenses is not going to be a surgeon for long if he or she botches surgery after surgery. What counts is your ability to apply what you know and demonstrate that you can do the things that you say you can do. Jessica Vanessa doesn't need a particular audience member's approval to be successful. She doesn't dress or sound like an iconic businesswoman. And I'm pretty sure twerking is not a course of study at Juilliard. But Jessica is a professional twerker because that's how she makes her living. And that in of itself tells us a whole lot about her dedication to her craft and her marketability. The quality is self-evident. So the next time anyone gets on your case about being a professional, take a second and analyze what really might be going on. The situation may call for a compromise, but from my experience, someone who stoops low enough to call your professionalism into question just wants you to do something their way. It's up to you to decide if that's the best move or not. So in the comments section, let me know what you guys think about what it means to be a professional. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you want more. See you next time. That can't be a professional camera because it's way too small, so maybe you need to get out of here and go find a real camera.